So let's talk about cattle health here. First problem I'm having is these bald spots. I had the vet out the other day because I didn't know if it was ringworm or lice, and she confirmed with me that it is in fact lice, which I did not honestly think would be a problem here in Alaska in the winter, given how cold it's been. And apparently it's a horrific problem. And I got some cattle from the Red Angus that apparently had it, and now look at them, they're all disgusting. So I gotta ivermectin these gals and guys as quickly as I can. Quite honestly, I'm out of it, and it's one of those things I'm having a hard time finding getting shipped to Alaska, and it isn't available here, the Poron stuff. Ivermectin's hard to come by now because people are using it for other purposes. And so I got all these cattle that are just crawling with lice, and there's very little or nothing I can do with it until I get the ivermectin that I'm waiting to have shipped to me and get them into a chute. Getting them into a chute is going to be a real problem right now because it's still winter and my chute's sitting over there and I don't have the facilities built to actually shunt them into a chute. So it's just a pain. My cattle are suffering because I don't have the right equipment here. That being said, most of these cattle now are docile enough that I can stand beside them and pour on ivermectin. Getting a proper weight measurement is going to be an issue. My track record of estimating cattle weight is not the best, as has been proven. So, I'm just going to get that stuff, and I'm going to probably overestimate a little because I think ivermectin is generally pretty safe as both as a prophylactic and as a therapeutic. And so I'm just going to overestimate and get them deloused here, hopefully in the next few days when my ivermectin finally arrives. It's part of the thing about living in small town Alaska. It's just not always easy to get what you need, and you gotta wait for it to get here, and it's stupidly expensive and it takes forever. And in the future, I won't let that happen. I'll make sure to have adequate Poron ivermectin available. But again, I honestly did not know lice were such a problem here because I just don't know how they survive. When it comes to cattle health as well, the other mistake that I found that I was making, whoa, you guys, the vet told me was I had the protein tubs out. I've since yanked it because apparently there's too much protein in those tubs and I'm setting my cows up potentially for milk fever. I did not know that, so I've yanked the protein tubs. I wish I could get a lower one, lower protein, like 7 or 8%, but again, I'd have to wait weeks or months for them to get here. And so what the vet told me was that I could get the cows what they needed just through the grain. So as usual, I'm trying to do a varied diet for them. They are getting the spent grain and the barley and the oats and the corn and the alfalfa. And as well, they're getting the alfalfa bales every day. I'm trying to give a 1 pound per 100 body weight. Again, I'm just estimating on my cow's weight and overestimating to make sure that they get alfalfa every day to get a little more calcium, vitamin A, protein, that sort of thing. Potatoes also have a small amount of calcium, small amount of protein. Most days they're getting a few 100 pounds of potatoes as well. So that's my cattle health lessons that I'm learning here. I'm horrified by the bald spots. They disgust me because I'm disgusted at myself. Hey, baby. And I'm disgusted that I just didn't know and that I didn't have the equipment on hand, and it's not a mistake I'll make twice, let me promise you that. But otherwise, they're doing great. The vet said they all look great. They have body conditions of 5, except for that one right there, she said was a 4, and I know that's because she's a lower level heifer and is always being bullied, so I've made an extra effort in the last few days to get her more. But otherwise, my cows are healthy and happy, and I just gotta get them deloused. The problem is, even if I delouse them at this time of the year, they're in close quarters, and unless I kill all the lice as well, they're probably just gonna come back. So I'd love to be able to just scrape their cow shed clean and this whole area clean and start fresh. But that's the problem with living in a place that has, 8 months of winter. There's only so much I can do, and I'm learning that. But in any event, I can try to take care of the acute problem and hopefully give them some relief with the Poron ivermectin. And in the springtime, I'm just going to sanitize this place the best I can. And they'll also have a lot more room to be out in the field, and I'm going to fence new area so they'll be spread out and the lice won't be able to hop around so easily. So that's what's going on with my cattle. They're all doing good, except for a couple little issues, and I'm just, as a new cattleman, I'm going to sort them out and make sure they don't happen again.